it's keeping my lawyer busy too. So I'm going to have to take on another lawyer also because he can't handle all of this and still stay focused on my real estate. But once you do the first one or two, then the template becomes easy. Because then you get your template where you get your learning curve, and it's just about filling in those slots and having your CPA do the due diligence for you. But yet you've got to backtrack and check him also, because he could be off or miss something too. So and then you're the only person that's going to be responsible in the end. So but hey, I was hoping that you had one or two trucks on the road by now.
No, I actually in that. Well, see, in my circumstances, when I had that Western Star, and I don't know if I told you it was a Western Star, and of course, that's the top of the line, and right. It was an expediter, but it was limited as to what I could, transport on it. That truck note was $37.50 a month. It almost sent me bankrupt. When FedEx slowed me down, it was like weeks at a time. Sometimes I wasn't moving that truck. And
wow.
Yes, and what I was looking at, I was looking at a lot of my, peers that started out in the business with me. They actually left FedEx and went over to Landstar. So I do have a. Huh?
That's what I had kept hearing.
Yes, everybody's leaving FedEx, going over to Landstar. But that is one of my goals as well right now. I'm having to rebuild myself up from the ground up. So that means I'm back out here driving, other than, just trying to do the third party logistics. There's things that, you just mentioned in the beginning of our conversation. There's a lot of different, administrative things that we have to do when we run a trucking company.
Oh, yeah.
And so that was my goal in going to Snyder is to get out here and make some money, get my, authority back active, which, the primary thing is to get your insurance. Then also maybe put some Sprinter vans on to do the pharmaceutical stuff, or some of the medical type stuff.
There's still a big demand for the Sprinter van?
There is a demand for the Sprinter van. See, even I found out on the straight truck that I had, they would put stuff on that truck that could have fitted on a Sprinter van. Particularly pharmaceutical and medical supply stuff.
Okay.
And so that's what I would mainly focus on. The, what do you call, almost like the parcel and the smaller LTLs, items that I could run regionally, maybe a couple states.
Okay.
But I may put the vans back on with FedEx, but ultimately, if I was going to, get back into the trucking side of it, I would put trucks on with Landstar instead of FedEx.
Okay. Now, does Landstar have a van division?
They have a van division, but they're fading that out right now. I think it's also their goal. They're going to eventually get rid of the expediting trucks. Because the thing is, there is a demand for it. Even at Snyder, they said there is a demand for the expediting trucks. A lot of time when we have inclement weather, the big trucks can't get in certain areas. They have to have a smaller truck. So there's always going to be a demand for the straight trucks. However, if you're a gambling man and you're trying to make money right away, you're going to invest in a semi-tractor truck before you do the straight trucks, because you're guaranteed that you're going to have freight.
Right. That's interesting. So where is FedEx? So did FedEx lose some contract to Panther or somebody, or what's going on?
This is what I'm hearing in the market, that Panther has taken a lot of FedEx business. I know that a lot of the Panther, the people that started up Panther,
they sold out.
They actually, but they actually came from FedEx. They were FedEx executives. So they knew FedEx inside and out, and they knew how. They knew how to get some of FedEx accounts. So that has really hurt FedEx. You don't even see the expediting trucks out there like you used to. Like when I first started out back here in 2012, doing expediting with FedEx, we were everywhere. You don't see us as much now. But again, I have a plan, with Snyder. I had to get back out here and drive myself because, I don't look for nobody to give me anything, so I have to get it myself. And eventually.
Oh, you're so independent. That's my cause. My independent buddy that I never met. That's right.
No, it's not.
Hey, you just get back up and keep going.
Well, yeah.
Entrepreneurial spirit,
Yeah, I do have a team spirit too, but in trying to do this within the last year, and even especially when I saw FedEx business decreasing, I tried to get other people involved in the business with me, but everybody's got something going on, or other people got other things on their mind, what they're trying to do. And it's really a still good investment, a good business, but me personally, if I was taking anything over to FedEx, Landstar, Panther, any of those companies, I would take semi-tractors because they're going to always move those.
Okay. So those are staying busy, right?
Yes, they're going to stay busy. And the reason being, let me tell you something, and you probably already know this from having your own trucking company. It is so much harder to find somebody to drive a semi-tractor. Even though I had a Class A CDL for the last 5 years, or going on 6 years, I didn't use it, as much. I pretty much, drove the straight truck, which is a Class B truck. However, a lot of people that have Class A's cannot drive a semi-tractor. If you've been out of the truck for more than 6 months, you have to have a refresher. You have to pretty much go back to school. And that's what I did. I was over in Atlanta for the last 30 days, learning to relearning how to drive a semi-tractor. And, it's just one of those things that if you don't have the experience or the current experience, no company is going to let a driver, unless it's, maybe an independent contractor such as yourself. You may allow a person with a CDL Class A to drive a vehicle. But even a lot of the independent contractors won't because of the insurance. We don't have drivers, out here over the road, that really can't handle these trucks.
Okay.
So it's important that they have current and up-to-date training to drive a semi-tractor, because that truck is a deadly missile.
So don't hire anybody that has been out of the truck more than 6 months period.
Yes.
Keep going.
Yes.
Unless they're going to get retrained.
Unless they're going to get retraining. And I'm so glad we're talking about retraining. That's actually one of my goals. I'm talking with you, and I'm mentioning this to you because I know you travel a lot and you have businesses down south as well. I think a wonderful thing to invest in also is commercial driving training.
You're continuing ed class, right?
Huh?
A continuing education class?
Yes, I do. I think there's a lot of people interested, whether it's Class B or Class A, in continuing education. And I had tried to get another gentleman that used to own a flatbed company. He had 17 trucks to go in with me on trying to start a commercial driving school. But, I guess he's preoccupied with other things. He didn't want to really do it. But I'm just saying.
What's the startup cost?
Huh?
What's the startup cost? You just have to get
I haven't done the numbers yet, Walter. But it's something that I would be interested in looking into once I get situated here over at Snyder. My weekends I have off, so I have a little bit more time to put together a business plan. But I think it's something that, whether a person's, like I said, want to drive the straight trucks or the semis, it's when you have a commercial driver's license, you're going to always be working.
Right. If I had looked at those training schools for the dental hygienist and those other types, and the medical billing and that type of thing, we had a school for sale here in Michigan, probably about a year and a half ago, maybe 10 months ago. That was for sale. But just didn't have the time to fool with it. So, there are different areas of continuing ed classes that do come up for sale. You know, they had one in Canada, which was the title for continuing ed for law school, for folks in law and paralegals and that type of thing. You know, so that came up. Because I think the registered person from the school that had contacted me about a month ago, and I only have time to wind down like this Saturday, Sunday. So I did the non-disclosure thing so that they can send over the documents. So I do those kind of things like on the weekends. And I was just going to see what the requirements were and what the administrative staff would be staying in place and what would be required. And then there was another company there that they were asking $2.5 million. Yeah, it was out of his mind. He had 35 sprinter vans that were all independent contractors, and he could figure down about $700,000 a year. And he just wanted the $2.5 million for his model with the whole thing set up, and he could add maybe another 10 or 15 sprinter vans. And he's got a good book of business, but I wasn't going to pay nobody $2.5 million for the business.
I agree.
And there's no aspect. I mean, I've got client lists for Canada and here in the States. I could set up the same model and just advertise.
Oh, yes. And the thing I like about the Sprinter vans, you know, almost anybody can drive them as long as they have a clean driving record or clean MVR. But it do take some training, you know, what do we call, just driving training, defensive driving training. Because a lot of people out here that drive four-wheelers, they're clueless as to how to manage a vehicle on a road. And this is why I think we have so many accidents out here, because a lot of people that have a regular driver's license, they don't get continuing education. I think everybody needs continuing education and to be aware of the different types of vehicles out here over the road.
Right.
But it's something that you and I can talk about, you know, down the road maybe, because like I said, right now I'm kind of focused on, you know, trying to make money and to get the administrative things that I need to take care of to get my company back up and running.
Right. How are your daughters doing?
My daughter's doing wonderful. I have one that just took the ACT again yesterday, and you know she's looking forward to going to a community college. And you know, of course, my other daughter, she graduated about 2 years ago, and she's working now as a school teacher. And of course, I have a son, and you know he's struggling right now to maintain his grades. But you know I'm pushing him. You know I'm behind him, so I'm not going to let him, you know, quit what he's trying, you know, what we want him to do and what he wants to do. He wants to be a college educated man. So, you know, I'm behind him.
Okay. Yeah. I thought about you when Alabama was playing football.
Oh, really?
Didn't have a chance to call you. I would get you sometime in February. But, yeah, the football team is doing well down there.
Oh, yes, most definitely. That's interesting that you mentioned that, because I thought about you when the crisis happened up there in Flint, Michigan. And I was saying to myself, I wonder what Walter think about this, you know, about the politics involved in it, about the sociology that's involved in it, meaning that, you know, the majority of people that are affected by the lead in that water are black or minority people. But
that's right.
I thought about you. I said, I just wonder about, you know, what is Walter still there? Did you go back to Florida? Are you back in Atlanta?
No. Well, you know, I grew up in Michigan, you know, but I was looking at what was happening, because I had looked at a 100-unit building and a 120-some unit building, and I'm really glad that I didn't purchase it, because what happens now is that everything in Flint has to be repiped. All those apartment complexes and everything, because it's damaging all of the plumbing.
Wow,
that's horrible. I mean, everything has to be replumbed. That's a major cost. So basically, I think some of those buildings will be giveaways because of what you've got to do from a plumbing standpoint. And I really feel that everyone, including the landowners of buildings and everything else, are entitled to grant, gift, or whatever you want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
from the federal government and the state. They should not be responsible for the negligence that happened.
Why?
Jeffrey Pfizer, now you know Jeffrey Pfizer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's the debt coordinator or lawyer. I'm surprised that his name hasn't popped up as a lawyer that's doing a class action lawsuit in that particular area.
Wow.
The lawyers are going to clean up because that's just sheer negligence. This is sheer negligence on the state's part and the government's part. Pinching pennies. That's what it was about, saving money. That's why they switched from Detroit Water.
But
and Detroit Water get their water from this geographic area for their bottled water.
oh my.
Yes. That leaves it out of Switzerland. And yes, that's where they get their water in certain geographic areas. And then the Resnick family out of California owns, what is it, Fiji Water?
Mm-hmm.
That runs, about $25 a case to $30 a case right now. And it's a husband and wife couple. And what they do is they specialize in looking for facilities to buy huge storage tanks of water around the U.S.
Wow.
Yeah, I never knew that there was a niche that folks would just specialize in just researching and trying to find huge half a billion capacity storage tanks of water. And if you ever land your a deal on land that's got a natural spring, it's a gold mine. Jeff is the owner of this 35 to 36 acres in New Hampshire, and he has a grandfathered permit from the former owner that passed to take 633,000 gallons of water a day. It breaks down to less than a penny and a half per gallon. So look at the markup. Just on water. So, I said, I can't go wrong with water that doesn't have lead in it now. Sure, we'll make some donations to the plant and everything else, but that premium brand water, folks want it. And right now, for the East Coast in Maine, Vermont, and that pocket right there, we've got a deal going for doing the bottled water for 97 locations for plant fitness. My partner that brought me into the deal has a prospective deal with Whole Foods. So, it's just a great industry to be in, but Whole Foods is looking at using our facility as their co-packer because of the purity of the water coming from the spring. So even though I've been trucking, I think there's a huge upside with the water company, and then I become instrumental because you need truck and equipment for the bottling plant there. So I'm handling the financing for that transaction with my finance company, because I'm in contact with GE. I've got a rep there, one at Commercial Credit Group, and multiple banks. And a lot of folks came from, everybody that has been in the finance industry, the majority all have a background from GE because they were the mammoth finance company, that loaned money to Oryx associates from decades ago, and a lot of the other companies